All right, so hey, we're live. This is the digital training workshop here in live in Lusaka, Zambia, and great to have all the different folks on. Seeing people come into the room from all over Lusaka, and we've got people here with us, ready and excited to get some training. And so, yeah, I'm Adam Cole. I'm a U.S. American. And I support a lot of the initiatives that are going on here in Zambia. And it's my heart, my passion just to see young people excel and achieve their dreams. So we decided to launch this, and you guys can give us the feedback after it's done if we should keep doing this. We have some of our Spark Zambia staff here, and they'll probably pop in a little bit. And let's go ahead and kick this off and get it going. So main thing with this training is going to be really just an intro for everyone of just how do you think about digital skills. Guys, turn that on. You know, in terms of your social media, your communication, how you're getting online, right? And using so many tools today, sometimes it can be overwhelming. But put some comments in the chat if you think it can be overwhelming. You know, especially as you're trying to navigate all the different apps. I find it can be challenging to navigate. So the biggest thing to think about as we think about this workshop is just the idea of, I look at it more of digital communication. You know, not only in your business, but also being an active citizen, how you're using the news, how you're interacting with people online, how you're doing all these things that are going to not only benefit you as a person, but also maybe position you for a job eventually. So, you know, the big thing is, what does digital tools represent? You know, that's what we're going to be talking about here. We've got so many different tools. Email, you got also this workplace collaboration thing that's kind of coming up, project management, there's networking, professional relationship, Zoom, which we're obviously on right now. All that plays a factor in how you're engaging with the world. You know, the big thing is that you have to realize it's all interconnected. So you're using email, you're using Messenger, but you're also consuming digital information. Many of you might have social media platforms, you might have news platforms. You know, things are coming at you in so many different ways, and you have to be aware of where it's coming from, know the truth. You know, for me, I'm following certain news sites. I'm making sure that the people I follow on social media also provide me relevant information. That way I can interact with people both in the physical and the virtual in a positive way. Big thing is then what we want you to get out of this course is understanding your online presence. You can see some, you know, and it relates to, there's all these different platforms, but all of it interconnects. You know, you've got Instagram, which is, you know, public, people follow you. You got your Facebook, which is a little more private, but people can still see a lot of times your page. It's mostly friends, family. And then LinkedIn is more professional. Now, I didn't put on here Twitter, also something that people use. I know people are starting to get on Threads. But, you know, whatever platform it is, the main thing is realize what you're saying to the external world. All of that matters, you know, because you're going to be getting a job and they're going to be looking at, they might look you up. They're like, okay, is this guy legit or gal legit? What are some of her qualities that she has put on here? And all that interrelates. One of the things that we'll get into is describing your why. Okay, how many of you have heard that? Put your hand up if you've heard that before. You guys heard it? Am I going too fast? By the way? It's good. Okay. You know, describing your why has a lot to do with what makes you tick, as they say. What wakes you up in the morning? For me, it's here with you guys. Passion is serving others, mentoring the next generation, you know, and that drives me. And so I want that to reflect on everything I do. Sometimes your why might be the business that you're pouring yourself into, like your family. But you have to be able to seize that and show that on social media so that when people interact with you, it helps them. It's almost like a way to signal who you are and where you're going so people can support you. And in the end, for a lot of you guys that may be coming in here without jobs, get jobs. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more on like the Dactyl, but I wanted to just put that up front so that everyone knows that, you know, if you've got some stuff on your social media, you might want to take a quick look at it and say, hey, is this the most professional it can be? Now, if you're just in college, you don't have to worry about getting a job. You can make it kind of funny. You know, I used to be that way. You know, a lot of pictures of me hanging out with buddies, you know. Now I'm very careful about what I put on social media. We're going to go over, though, we're going to take it a step back. We're going to go over email. Now, this might seem you guys like, hey, I got email address. You know, some of it may seem like very basic. We want you to get that level of just basic knowledge, okay? One of the things that we're, the main thing with this is that know that email is really meant for official communication. Okay, you've got WhatsApp out there and you got some of these other messaging tools. You can just be like, hey, how are you? Or hey, what's going on? Email is meant to be more like you're writing a letter. Okay, and we're going to show here in a little bit. You know, and it's a way to really, if you've got customers, if you got applying for a job, if you need to do a resume, you're going to need email. It's really a starting place. Some tips though on that. Now we've done this really basic, but there's good tips even here, you know, for setting up like even a Gmail account. One of the big things that you guys should all be knowledgeable about is, you know, make sure that you're setting a Gmail that reflects your just basic name. Okay. You know, back in the day, even for me, it was like, you know, Adam going on, you know, the road.com, the gmail.com, you know, and then you get to put that on your resume and like, what? I don't get it. So obviously if your name might be taken, you might do like adam.cole 415 or adam.r.cole or Adam, you know, do something. The bottom line, again, if you're using this as a way to get jobs, put on your resume, you're going to want to have something that reflects your name, not like Scooby-Doo, something like that, that all of a sudden people are like, this guy's not serious. You know what I'm saying? And so that's step one. Now, getting to know your inbox. All right. Now, how many of you have inboxes that look like this? Put your hands up. Like where you're getting these marketing emails, you might get, you know, some other random stuff coming in. You know, the big thing is I always tell people, make sure you're keeping your inbox clean. You know, if you're getting these marketing emails, hit that unsubscribe. You know, maybe put some priorities on there. You know, especially as you're waiting to maybe hear back from job or employers. You know, you don't want to miss their email. You know, make sure it's connected to your phone. And that way, you know, if your inbox looks like this, and sometimes mine does, to be honest, and then I'm missing emails and they're like, hey man, did you see that? You know, it could be an important email that you're not getting. Obviously, very basic is like the compose, send email out. You're going to click on, you know, the new, compose allows you to start a new email, reply allows you to respond on it. And then a lot of people don't realize this, but like CC lines are kind of key. Know who's in your organization, who might need to get the info. Always check the CCs. Maybe if an employer sends something back to you, they might be like an executive assistant or secretary, and that person may be important. So I do a lot of reply alls. If someone sends me something, I'm like, I don't want to miss anyone on that CC. They were the one that had to get the information. Composing an email can be kind of the way to do it. It's later, okay? Like 2-line, okay, that's pretty simple. You might have their email already stored, right? The subject though is key, okay? Again, this is meant to not only allow you to interact in a digital skills kind of way, but also thinking about professionals. That's what this training is meant to be for. You got subject line should be like, hey man, what I try to do for the subject line is really capture what I'm trying to say. Okay. And this one is said farewell, Godspeed. It's a little bit of one to say goodbye to someone or say goodbye. And it looks like I see something about muting microphones. Yeah, that's a good point. And I'll just go ahead and mute folks as needed. And hopefully you're not getting too much natural sound out here. We're gonna keep it going though as best we can. But yeah, guys, and feel free to put any questions you have in the chat. The other thing that you got to realize is, first name, family name, rarely used. Dear, I know in this example it says dear. You don't really need to make it that formal, okay? If you use dear, it might seem like, well, this guy doesn't know how to use email, okay? So you really got to be careful to make it personal. I think email has brought down a lot of barriers in that way, but also maintain a certain level of etiquette. And then I always like to do a personal greeting, like, how are you? Good afternoon. Hope all is well in your neck of the woods. And then kind of get to the point, like, hey, I'm writing today to see if you got my resume. Okay. And then I always end with, you don't really have to end with the sincerely, you can end with best regards. You usually end with your name though. And this is probably picking a bad example here though. Don't end with like your whole signature block. End with your name, like regards, Adam, and then have your signature block below it. I didn't put any slides up here on signature block, but I'll touch on it here in a second. Is that the signature block is pretty key, and there's ways to do it in Google and Gmail to set it. What you want is at least your full name. Okay. Now, in this case, he puts, if you're working for a company, you put kind of what your position is, what your company name is. But, if you don't have a job, you might just want to put your name, maybe where you're living out of, maybe your LinkedIn and your phone number, just so they're kind of like way to contact you. Now we're going to get a little bit more into the online personas, how to choose or how to kind of put yourself out there in terms of like, this idea of everything you do does have that digital ramification, as they say. So again, include your why. I really am big on, choosing a good profile picture. That's kind of funny, wearing the glasses, maybe wear a tie. I see a lot of folks wear their their graduation gowns, which I know is important to them. But, if you guys are looking for jobs, make sure you're wearing a tie or being professional. And if you need someone to help you with that, it's pretty easy. Is like, you just kind of, can use your phone, take a good selfie, line it up in a way that it just looks good, maybe get some good lighting. When I did mine, I just went outside in my front yard, had my kid take it, put it on a setting, and I had the tie on, and that was it. It didn't have to be like in a full-on photo studio and stuff like that. It's just being intentional. That's the big thing about all this, is being intentional and being representative who you want to be. So LinkedIn, how many put in the chat, if people can put in the chat, even put your LinkedIn profile. It'd be good to connect with folks after this. But LinkedIn really is the bread and butter if you're looking for jobs. Okay. And it's easy to do, it's easy to set up. And there's certain nuances that are important. You do have to have that profile. You do need kind of a banner. I'm kind of unique in my banner because I kind of project out some of the companies that I support, that I'm running, or that I'm investing in. That way people can kind of see it almost as an advertisement. If you guys have some friends that do graphic design, this is a good way to platform who you are, like digital marketer, awesome innovator, and have that be your banner, because that's what people see. And if they see that, they're like, okay, this guy's kind of got his stuff together. You get an opportunity on LinkedIn to do what's kind of like this description. The thing I tell people, this is really where you're doing your why statement. Make it short, make it sweet. I usually use those bars to like have 3 kind of terms, like fintech, banking, e-commerce. I'm kind of playing with those. Are those the right fit for me in this moment? I'm kind of thinking now, even maybe I do strategic leader, founder, something like that gets people to maybe either invest in me, help me out with my next job. Even me at this point in my life, I'm looking for a next job. So I'm thinking, how do I want to position myself? Well, I got these skills I've been doing. Okay, so maybe that's how I got to better position myself. Because I've been in venture for a while. I've been an entrepreneur. I've done some communication, and that's just the journey of life. Even if you're just getting out of college and you got 10 years in, you're always trying to figure out, where am I going? What's the next step? How can I keep growing? So that's that section, okay? And then there's some things that you can do that talks about. There's also an about section. Make sure you're definitely using that about section. I didn't put a slide on here, but I usually do a little bit about me. Don't just say like, hey, I'm a high school student, or I'm a university graduate. Be like, hey, I'm seeking a position. Put very firmly what you're trying to achieve, almost like a resume. I'm seeking a position in digital marketing, and I really am passionate about this. Put a little bit about maybe where your successes are. Hey, I led a campaign of 5,000 people. I managed 10 different social media sites. That way, people, as they're scrolling through, can definitely see like, or it says the volume is quiet. Maybe hold on, guys. It might be because I probably should have brought the other webcam. So I apologize, guys. Is that any better? I'll just try to speak louder. Maybe I'll get closer too. Can you guys hear me better now? Better or worse?
It's better.
Test, test. All right, Natasha, you can let me know. Okay, much better. Good. Thanks for, sorry that happened, and hopefully you guys were able to catch better, but not very audible. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. We'll keep working on it. Next time, do a little bit better on the webcam. Good about that webcam, I guess. But we'll keep pressing. I'll just try to talk louder, and you know, we'll share these slides at the end too, and I'll put my contact details if anyone asks questions. Certainly this is our first one, so we're learning together on what works and what doesn't. Yeah, that helped. Oh, we have some more folks done. All right, we're gonna go and just take a 2-second break to get the computer up on the screen here. All right, we're gonna keep going here, as best we can. Like I said, thanks for working with us as we work through the audio challenges. Again, we'll kind of share this with everyone, and I'm available one-on-one if anyone needs more of the training. But yeah, thanks everyone again for being on. So that's kind of a little bit about the this idea of getting your profile set up right. Now we're going to go back one slide. We're going to talk about connecting with others. You know, the big thing is find someone who you can relate with. Maybe you see a post, someone doing something cool. And then what I usually do is I look at who commented on. If those people, like in this case, everyone's got a platform. This case, this guy is a veteran investor, invests in military veterans in the US. So he's got a lot of people on here that are related to you know, being that type of investor, and also military. So some of those are commonalities maybe you have, or you know, as you find people in those similar spaces and similar type of genres that relate to you, then you can connect with them and say, hey, are you guys here for the digital training? Okay, yeah, have a please see it. We just are going over like LinkedIn, guys, and setting up online kind of presence. And yeah, I mean, connecting with people is a key piece. You know, it's only if you connect, then you're going to get maybe someone gives you a job. They might be able to connect you with someone else. I try to tell people get to 500 connections as soon as possible. Because that way you at least show that you're active, you're in the space, you're learning, you're growing. For personal branding, here's some tips. You know, you have to show yourself who you are. That comes down to how you essentially what you're posting on, you know, and trying to represent that. You know, if you're into financial inclusion, make sure you're in spaces and places that represent that. You know, that could be hard for you guys right now sitting here. You're like, I don't know where I'm going and what I'm doing. But there's always an opportunity to show that. Okay. Maybe get an article. You know, you can always pull articles online in your field. If you're like digital marketing, if you're like, I'm really into science. Okay. And really that's the why. Again, you know, it goes back to knowing your why. Talked a little bit about that before you got here. It's like finding your why, finding your true purpose in life is probably one of the most key things about how you represent yourself online in a digital environment. Are you here for the training? All right. Creating a business page is somewhat similar. All about you know, giving this idea that you know, you want to represent your business in the same way, profile who that business is, how that business operates. Tell that story, tell that why. Ford finished strong. Ford's a big car company in the US. They're really big on the built Ford tough type concept, built proud. A key thing on Slack, okay, that is being used more and more as what they call collaboration. Okay, if you're in the workplace, they're gonna have this. Maybe we're doing a hackathon here later today, and so we set it up. As you can see, ask questions. I need feedback on my idea. Same thing as you have on LinkedIn. Your professional name. Make sure you're identifying yourself. People can relate with you. In the workplace, you might have different segments of like whatever task that needs to be accomplished. Again, all about professionalism. Asana, just touch on this. You might be involved in your workplace, especially if you're working online. If you're a virtual assistant, they might ask you to start a project, or then you'll be getting tasked. So this is really high level, just a quick level. We'll probably do more in-depth training as we get going, but we just want to expose you to it. Essentially, the big thing with Asana is you get a project name, a task, date it might be due, description of task, and then any comment or whatever if there's a specific update. Key thing with Zoom is that you want to be professional again as you're joining. Make sure that you got good lighting. Obviously I'm a good example here. Just probably get the webcam, invest in it, make sure you got good audio. All right. Sorry, I didn't realize you guys were behind over here. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, and then wear appropriate clothing. I know a lot of times you join and you're not, you don't have to turn on your video. Also be confident and just kind of like say your name, who you are, why you're joining. Some of that's helpful to be just present on these Zooms, like use the chat. Engage with the person that's on there. Sometimes group chats are harder. Group Zooms are harder where you're kind of in the background, but one-on-one, you want to be on time. You want to show up, kind of sit up in your seat, like, hello, good morning, as soon as you join. There you go. Someone's using the chat well. And then again, finally, in conclusion, everything you do online matters. Be professional, be authentic, connect, and it will change your life. So with that, we're gonna have our digital trainer come on now for just some other words, and we'll open it up to questions. You want to add anything? Okay. Put the questions in the chat. And again, feel free to, I'm going to put my LinkedIn here. Feel free to connect with me. This is our first run at these, so it's very light. Probably as you come visit us and as we get this going, we'll help you set up your profiles. In fact, we got some laptops here. So for those that are here in the audience, you guys want to stay behind and work on some of that, our team will be able to assist. But yeah, if there's no questions, we'll probably end it there a little early. At least wanted to kind of give you that overview. You've got the slides in the chat, and we look forward to just serving you. We're here at Spark Zambia, down in Toowoomba. Obviously, might be far for some of you guys, but hoping to have some trainings up there in Lusaka. And this space is open to everyone. We want to make it an entrepreneur lab and a real place where you can come grow. I see someone says, Danny, I think you put a question in here. I've come across stuff like email marketing. How does that work? Yeah, good question. We didn't really touch on that. I will probably, maybe that's a secondary one. That's more an advanced thing, but it's using tools like MailChimp, HubSpot. If you might be in a company where they want to send out an email blast, you need to kind of put some graphics and maybe some words. Obviously we didn't get into a lot of the social media management for like a company or email marketing. We're looking at doing some social media marketing tracks for those of you that want to get jobs in that area. So sign up for that one. It'll hopefully really help you position yourself to get those type of jobs. Anyone else? All right, well, thanks everyone. We're gonna sign off here. And it was great. It was really great to have this training.